Hello everyone, welcome back to Python tutorial by Code Warriors. In the previous videos, we have talked about data types and what kinds of data types, all its uses, significance. Then in the last video, we've talked about we covered three important data types: integers, floating points, and strings. We have seen how we can manipulate strings, we can do concatenation and all. Now, in today's video, we will talk about next two very important data types, and I think most important data types: lists and dictionaries. They are really important if you are going to work in the field of like data science, data analytics, where you have to work with lakhs of data. In that case, these lists and the manipulations of lists comes very handy, and it's very useful to know about this data type. So today we are going to work on these two data types. Just be with me today, understand these data types, work on it on your free time, do some practicals on it, do more experiments. I can't be able to tell you each and everything over here. Some things you have to practice by yourself. It comes by practicing more and more. So work on these two data types, lists and dictionary, especially the lists, because they are really important. Okay, so without wasting any further time, let's move on to our ID. Okay, so this is our spider ID. So today we are going to talk about, first we will cover lists and then we will cover the dictionaries. But before covering lists, let me show you some things about Python, some like extra things in the Python, and some things that in Spider we can arrange our stuff, we can arrange our program, we can make it look more good and more understandable. There is one thing in Python called comment section, commenting. Now, what commenting is, like, it is used to make program more understandable. Like, if you write something and put a comment on it, then the interpreter will not interpret that line. It will ignore that line and will move on forward. Those comment lines are just for the reader or the developer to understand what is going on in that section of the code. Now to write a comment line, it's very simple to write a comment line. All we have to do is type hash and write whatever you want to write over here. It will not be what you say interpreted. Let's say I have written this line. Okay, now let's come interpret it. F9. See, no error, no output, no nothing. It is an interpreter is not even reading this line. It is ignoring it, that it doesn't even exist for him. Okay, but at the same time, if you write here um, what print hello world and execute these two lines, F9, it will just, you see in the IPython console, it just printed the hello world line, it gave its output. It doesn't bother with a hash line. These hash lines are the comment section lines. It is just for you to understand what you are doing in that section of the programs. Okay, now this is a one way to do commenting, but in Spider they have very good this feature of making it look more and more decorative and easy to understand. Suppose so, let's if we want to write some part of a code, it's related with a list. Right now we are going to study lists. Okay, so let's press Control plus 4, and it creates this kind of a section over here. Now you can write here lists list. Now whatever we will be working in here, it will be related with the list. Okay, so we got a heading section over here, commented heading, and in below the heading we are working on the program related with the list. In the same way, at some point we will make a heading control 4 and we will write here dictionaries, and here from here now any reader can understand. In this section, in the above section we talked about lists, in the below section we are talking about the dictionaries. It's so easy to understand. Any reader can understand what's going on in that section of the program. What now, let's say, okay, now you've seen this comment section. It is nothing. If you see here, there's this 3 hash. Okay, first hash, and after hash whatever is written, it becomes a comment section, right? I've told you already. So all these equals to signs becomes a comment section, becomes a comment. And in this way they created a block of comment so that people can understand it very easily. Now suppose, now this is a way to create a headings documents, but if you want to explain one single line in like what is going in that line, like suppose if I say print um, hello world. Now to tell people what's going on this line, just all you have to do is press hash here and write it is printing hello world. Simple. Now if we run this line, what it's going to do is just say print hello world, and comment section is that is it doesn't bother with the comment section, it doesn't give you any error, it doesn't do anything with it. It just gives you an output hello world. Okay, same thing, you can do it like this if you want. Put it here and then run it. I'm sorry, I pressed the wrong keyboard over here. Press F9 and say print hello world. Sorry, it's spelling typo mistake. Mother it's hello world. Okay, this is how commenting works in the Python language. And every language has their own commenting ways. C has its own comment ways. Python has its own comment ways. Java has its own ways of commenting. And but this is the way of Python that you have to understand. And you are using Spider, so they have created this. You can say our default method to comment. They've created this method so that we can comment it very easily. We can create a comment heading. Okay, so now let's move on to lists. Okay, so we talked in our previous video how we can declare lists. All we have to do is write any variable name. I'll just say list1. Okay, and as I told you, lists are under list comes comprise under big brackets. So all you have to do is put big brackets and write whatever you want to write over there. Write any numbers. Okay, and run it. F9. Now you see here in the variable section, list1. What is its data type? It is list type. What is its size? 8. Size 8 is, there are 8 objects in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 objects. So its size is 8. And this is list. Now list you can write, it's not just that there are lists of only one kind of a data type, like I right now I've written only integers in there. You can write whatever you want, like list2 equals to let's say we write code, then comma warriors, then comma 123 comma 56.73, whatever you want to write. See, I've covered lots of things, like I've covered strings, I've covered integer, I've covered floating point number. These all comes under list. See, now this is under list with a size 4, and we have, because we have 4 objects in there. Okay, so now even suppose you're working on Jupyter Notebook, you're not working in Spider ID, you're working somewhere else, and you want to find out the length of the list, because right now it is a small list. You can count only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But sometimes they are big lists. If you're working in data analytics side, you've got a list of like 1 lakh data, 1 lakh objects over there. No, you can't count those 1 lakh objects. And so in that case, we have to use this keyword len. I have told you this keyword in strings. We have used this keyword in strings the same way we use it in what do you say, in list with list, and put list2 and let's print it. print and run it. F9. See, print list2 has size of 4. Size of 4. It tells the length. Okay, then if we talk about, let's talk about concatenation. So let's make it look good. Okay, let's write here concatenation. There may be a typo mistake. Don't. Sorry, I'm not that good with spellings. Okay. Okay, concatenation. Okay, just understand what's this. concatenation. Okay, so now if we want to add these two lists, how are we gonna do it? It's very simple. Nothing we have to do. Just write list3. Let's create a new list, new variable. List3 is equal to list1 plus list2. That's it. And here we go. F9. You see here, list3 has got all variables of list1 and then all variables of list2. And it says here dot 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 because it's a limit. It can only show up to here. But if you print it out, let's print it. Print list3 F9. Now here you see in the output screen, it has got all the values over here. Dot 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 means so on. Now your list 1 has a size of 8, list 2 has a size of 4, and you see list 3 has a size of 12. 8 plus 4. Now you see here we wrote list 1 plus list 2. Means first list add list 1, then list 2 will add and the further of it, like appending. But if we want it in opposite way, just interchange it, make it list 2 plus list 1 and run it. Let's run the print 2. Right. F9, and you see it becomes reverse. This is concatenation of string two lists. Now let's talk about its mutability. We have seen here on the strings with the strings that they are immutable. Immutable means you can't just change the any character inside a string. Like if it is written hello world, you can do, instead of hello you can say hi world. You can do that. It's a complete string. You can change the characters inside the string directly. But in lists are mutable. You can change whatever character you want. I will show you. Let's again make a section. Mutability. Okay. And again, please don't bother about the spellings. I know they may be wrong. Okay. In mutability, let's see. We have list 1 here. Now we have wrote list 1. Now what we want to change? Let's say we know the indexing, how indexing happens. It's like first becomes 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4. Means 1 becomes 0. Once index of 1 is 0, index of 2 is 1, index of 3 is 2. Indexing starts from 0. So now whatever you want to change, whatever index number you want to change, just write the index number here under the square brackets. Like we want to change this number, this big number, we want to change it with a small with any other number. So what is its index number? Let's say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Its index number is 6. Just write 6 here and write whatever you want to write. If you want to give it any number like 76, then give it a number and press F9. Now you see here our list 1 changed and that big number becomes 76 only. Now if you want to give it some kind of a string name, okay, so just write it inside our single inverted commas or double inverted commas. Write whatever you want. Write like 7 and F9. It becomes 7. Here you see it becomes a string. We inserted a string inside a list. Now this is the mutability. We can change strings. We can change list at any time and any place. They are flexible. They have got this flexibility with them. Now let's talk about their indexing and slicing. Again, let's create a section. Indexing and slicing. Now I told you about indexing right now, right? That indexing is just their indexes. Like if you want to find the if you want to know what is that index 0, then sorry, it's a list 1 and print it out. Print list 0 F9, and you will see it says at list 0 it is 1. In the same way, if you want to print if you want to know an index number of like let's say 6 only, okay, let's run it. F9. At index 6 we've got 7. We just changed it in the mutability section. We gave it that 6th index will be 7, and here you see. So this is called indexing. Now slicing. Slicing is exactly like the way we do it with the strings. There are three things in the slicing. Oh, again the same thing I did. Start, start, stop, and step. If you have seen my previous video of the string, you will see you will know what start means. Start means is the starting point of the list from where you want to slice. Stop is the ending point of the list up to which point you want to slice it, and step is the about number of gaps you want to take in between, number of jumps you want to take, number of steps you want to take. Okay, and I told you one thing, in while using a stop, the index that you give at the stopping point, it doesn't include that number. Like if we say list 1 um, from index 0 to index 3, and let's print it, and F9, and you see there are from index 0 to 3. At index 0 it was 1, at index 1 it was 2, at index 3 it was, sorry, at index 2 it was 3, and at index 3 it was 4. But when we gave it up to 3, then it doesn't include the 3, and it doesn't give out the value 4 over here. It only give the value of the index 0, 1 and 2, and hence we get the output 1, 2, 3. Now in the same way, if we use here 6, and we give a step size of like 2, and let's print it out, F9. Now you see here it started from the 0th index, goes up to the 6th index, doesn't include the 6th index, means basically technically it goes up to the 5th index. Okay, and gave a step size of 2, means jumping one after another. Like first it took 1, then it jumps 2, then it goes to 3, then it jumps 1, then it goes to 5, then it jumps 1, and here it is the end of the list because our stopping point is 6. So it ends over here. Now this, like in the strings we've shown you, list 1 brackets. Okay, wait a minute. Let me make it a little bit outside, and let me increase the size. Okay, now you can see it more clearly. Okay, what we've given it the spice. We have written nothing inside of it, just simply let's print it, F9. You see whole list is printed up because we have not given any starting point, we have not given any ending point. That means it is starting from the very beginning, ending at the very end, and using a default step size which is 1. And when the step size is 1, that means it is not what you say, jumping over any value. It is accepting every value over here. Okay, if we give it to here, we put 5 and press enter, F9, and you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't include the 5th index, but it started from the 0th index. We have not given any index over here. So this is the slicing. This is a programming language. It's a practical thing. There's nothing theory about it. Okay, theory is just to pass out those college or school exams. But if you want to do something in the actual world, in the actual life with a programming language, with a Python, then you gotta work it out more practical. You need to get into it. You need to spend time on it. You need to do experiments on it. Like what else you can do with it? What are all kinds of things with it? Now let me show you one thing. Um, Wait a minute. Okay, I will show you in further. There's one more thing. At first, we'll talk about this functions that comes with a list. There are lots of functions, like in string we have seen there was function like string dot upper and string dot lower function, upper function. Then there was sort function. Then there was reverse function. Now the same way there are functions in the lists also. Let's see it. Okay, again make a comment section over here and write functions. these are all inbuilt functions. Okay, yes. Now first we'll talk about, let's say it is our list one. Let's say list one dot. Okay, we use the dot here and we see here's a list of all functions that can be worked with the list. You see append, extend, pop, sort, index, remove, insert, count, reverse, copy, clear. Now these are all the functions that you can use with a list. Now the other thing is, um, I'm going to explain you a few of the functions, like 4 5 functions. I'm going to explain you. Rest you have to work it out. You have to combine those functions. You have to separate them, work on them, experiment on them, and find out what they can do more. And to take a help, Spider has got this one more good feature. I'll show you. That is what I want to show you earlier. This, like right now I wrote append list one dot append and I put a bracket over here. Okay, and if I press Control and I, it opens a documentation section here, if you see in this section, and it says append object to the end. Now if I told you about list, that all the things that are inside the list are known as objects, and it says append the, if you are writing append an object, then that means you are writing an name of an object over here. Like I want to write here 8. Okay, so append object, and this append object will go to the end. So if we run this line and F9, now open the variable explorer here. Now you see 8 comes at the end point. Now this is what append does. It adds whatever the value you want to append into that list. You just write it over here. Now if you want to append a string or a character, we have to just write like NINE9, and sorry, it's list one, not list. Now one more thing, I want to show you something. I wrote here list. You know what list is? List is a data type. Okay, and that's why it is in a shaded color. But if it was a variable, it would not have been in this orange color. Okay, this is how you can find out that list is a data type. It's not a variable. There has to be a mistake over here. And there is one more variable rule I've forgot to tell you in the earlier video, but it comes right now, so I'm gonna tell you that you can't use those variable names which are the inbuilt keywords of the Python language. Like you can't use a variable name called print. You can't use a variable name called list. You have to use list one, list two, list underscore, anything but the actual list word. Okay, this is what you have to remember. You can't use a variable name as len, because len is our function that tells us the length of the string, length of the list. You can't use those inbuilt keywords of Python. The same way it is here, list one. We have to write list one dot append 9 F9, and you see here in the variable explorer it says 9 is also added into the list one. Okay, now another feature is this. Now we are talking about adding it into the last. But what if we want to add it in the between somewhere? Like I want to add between 4 and a 5. I want to add something here. Now to do this, another function is used. It is list one dot insert, insert, and let's check the documentation of insert. Control I, and you will see it says in insert you have to put two parameters. One is index, another is object. Now you know what is index. Index is the place, and it's like a location of a object. So it says here object, whatever you want to insert, put it, and the index at which location you want to put it. Insert object before index means whatever the index you will give it, it will insert the object before that index. Now if we want to insert at the position 4, at this before between 4 and the 5, okay, so we have to see the index of the 5 because it is going to put the index before it. So let's say it's 0 1 2 3 4, so we will put here 4 comma whatever you want to write here, like I want to insert here 70. So let's run this line, F9, and you see between 4 and the 5 there is this another object came, it is 70. Now this is the way we work insert. And now if we want to put up some character, then that is also we can do, like 70, and run it, F9, and you see, okay, wait a minute. In the previous line, what we did, we inserted here in the, if you see in IPython console, we have inserted 70 between 4 and 5. Now, before inserting the 70, sorry, after inserting 70, again we did the list one dot insert. So what it do? Now it already had 70 in the list. Okay, it already changed itself that now at the the fourth index I've got 70. So when next time I inserted at the fourth index, I inserted that on this word 70. So it works on that previous string including 70, and again at the fourth index it finds out and it inserts 70. Now this is about inserting a character or a number. Let's talk about removing a character or number. So for removing it, here we use a simple list for one dot pop. What pop does? Let me show you. F9, and it removes the last object of that list, and it here gives the output 9. Means it has popped 9 from the list. Now if we print the list, print list1 and F9, you see 9 is now not in the our list. It used to be earlier, but it's now not. Now this is how pop works. It removes the last object. What append does, it adds in the last. What pop does, it removes from the last. Now if you want to remove from any other location, so what we do is list1 dot remove, and if we check its documentation, so it says remove and enter the value over here. Now remove first occurrence of that value, raise value error if the value is not present. Now it says it will remove the first occurrence of that value. Now like here this is our list 1 2 3 4 70, then this 70 5 6 7. Now if we want to remove, suppose this 70 if we want to remove, so what we have to do is, all we have to do is write 70 over here and F9, and you see here it removes the 70. Now let's do one thing. Let's add one thing in the list. Let's list1 dot insert, or just append and write here 4. Okay, F9. Now you see it will not show here. Okay, one more thing, if you want to see the whole list, it is not showing right now, it's saying dot 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 so on. All you have to do is just press the double click over here and it will show you the complete list. And you see in here the last number here is 4, that just we appended over here. Okay, now we have 2 4s in our list, and if we run this line list1 dot remove and we put here 4, okay, and let's do this, let's see what happens. F9, now it removes its first occurrence of 4, and in the last 4 is still present over there. It removes its first occurrence. If we run this line again, F9, now it removes now it searches from here and it finds that 4 is at the last and removes the 4 again. Now if we run this line again, let's see what happens. F9, it gives me an error. It says list.remove x is not in list, means the x that we are trying to remove is not present in the list. We have removed all 4 from the list. This is a way to check whether that number is present in the list or not. But there are other more good methods to check that. Okay, now let's add 4 again in the list. F9, F9, F9. We've got 3 4s in the list. If we check it out, in the last we've got 3 4s in the list. Now if right now this is a very small list, we can see how many 4s are there, we can count it down. But if it's a very big list, as I told, there are lots of data out there to work with. It's a list of 1 lakh. How are you going to count those? In that situations we uses uh, list1.count, and we write here the value whatever we want to count. We want to count 4, we write here 4 and press F9. See the output screen, it says 3. There are 3 4s over here. Now if we write here 1, and let's see how many 1 are there, F9, there is only 1 in the list. See, this is how count works. Then we can talk about sorting the list. But we have to remember one thing about the sorting with the same kind of data types. Either the whole list has to be an integers or a whole list has to be a string. It doesn't work with the combination of two. Like right now our list one has two kinds of data. There's list and there's this string also over here, character. So if we say list1 dot sort and let's run it, we see what happens. F9, it says error not supported between instance of string and int. We've got two instances in there, it is not supported for that. But what if, let's do it. Let's do this list dot remove, and let's remove 7 SEVEN. Okay, F9. Oh wait, I did some kind of a mistake over here. Descriptor remove requires a list object, but it received a string. Let's check it out what the mistake is. Let's open the documentation and see what it says here. Okay, it says remove value, remove first occurrence of value, raise value. Oh, okay, I said here list, it should be list1 dot remove, and write again SEV and 7 and run it. F9, and if we go to the variable explorer, we see now there is no 7 in there. Our whole list is of integers. Okay, all our numbers. Now let's run list1 dot sort. F9, and you see here our whole list is sorted. It's, you see, this is the largest number. It used to be in between, now it is at the end. Now this is a sorted list, but what if we want to reverse our list? So simple, like in the string, list1 dot reverse, and press F9. Here we go, our list is reversed. Now you can see the largest letter comes first, and the same it is in descending order, our whole list. Now okay, I'm one more thing here. There's this clear function, list1 dot clear. What it does is, let's see, it clears, it empties the whole list. Now you see there's no value in there, size becomes 0, there's no value in this list. This list is completely empty to work on, to put on the new values over there, to do whatever you want. This is a very risky keyword, you know, because if you have like lots of data, you use this keyword, you might just lose your whole data. Okay, so be careful with this function. And these are all the functions I've told you, but there are lots of functions, as you can see here. List1 dot, okay, you can see there are lots of functions over here that I didn't talk about. Like there's a copy function, you don't need much for this, and there's this extend function, but mostly I've talked about all. Okay, so work on these, the function that I haven't talked about, work on it, do experiments on it. Even these are the functions that I talked about, do experiments on it. There are lots to work inside these functions. I've told you basics, but when you work it from your side, you will you will learn it much more better. You will see how good you are becoming at that language. Okay, that will show how much work you are putting up on that language. So work from your side onto these functions. Okay, but yes, if you might face some problems, you might face some errors, either you can Google it down. Okay, there are lots of good websites that will help you, or you can just put it in the comment section below. I will help you ASAP. So don't worry about it, just work on yourself. Okay, keep practicing it. It's languages are all about practicing. The more and more you practice, the more you become in that language. Okay, so we'll talk about dictionary in our next video. Yes, this video is becoming already very big. It's around, I think, 36, 37 minutes video it is. And I don't want you to getting bored with, you know, lists and then dictionaries all getting mixed up. Okay, so we'll cover dictionary in next video. Just practice this right now. See all these functions and everything. Work it out. Have a great day.